This bill is in relation, my bill is looking at human trafficking and improving Ireland's response to human trafficking. I think quite simply it's fair to say we are failing as a nation to address the scourge of human trafficking. If you look at the TIP report produced by the US State Department, there are 124 countries who are ranked higher as doing more than we are. In June 2020, we fell to Tier 2 watch list. In June 2021, we were still on Tier 2 watch list. And after 2 years at Tier 2 watch list, there is an automatic falling to Tier 3, which brings with it all sorts of consequences for our state in relation to our relationship with America. But really, this isn't about self-interest, but because behind the TIP report, there's a huge number of vulnerable victims who we are ultimately failing. If we look at the expose by The Guardian and the Irish Transport Workers Federation of the fishing industry, we see quite the brutal conditions often exposed to victims of trafficking and labour exploitation there. There's huge issue of sexual exploitation and forced sex work in this country, and the Amnesty International report the other day shows exactly the dangers those people who are forced in those forced sex work positions who are exposed to. The Global Slavery Index estimates there are 8,000 victims of trafficking in Ireland, but in 2020 we identified only 38. It was the 4th year in a row where the number of victims of trafficking that we have identified has fallen. So our response to trafficking and our ability to identify victims is getting worse. Until 2021, there were no successful prosecutions in relation to human trafficking. So what we need to be doing is changing the way we engage with recognition of victims and the way we provide support to victims, to give them the safety to come out and be able to talk about their experiences and to support them and to make it easier for them to do that. My bill introduces an early identification system that is much broader than the current system with only allows the Gardaí. It includes social workers, support workers and NGOs, trade unions, the people who will be dealing directly more so with the victims of trafficking so that they can contribute to the early identification. It includes a system of supports for victims so that they aren't left abandoned and alone. It includes issues around immunity from prosecution, which is an essential element, particularly if someone has been trafficked here and has been forced to engage in criminal behaviour. The immunity is needed for them to be able to escape the situation they're in. It also includes appointment of guardian ad litums to child victims so that our focus on the most vulnerable victims of trafficking, again, is improved. I've been working on this bill for some time, and I know in recent months, last year, the government announced its own intention to review the referral mechanism. Since that intention was announced, we've had no further details, really, and also it's not just about the referral mechanism, it's about the supports that go in and around that. As I say, the guardian ad litem, the supports for victims, the issue of immunity. These are all essential elements of our responding to human trafficking and our better support of victims. Ultimately, I think we need significant, there's been efforts to make awareness campaigns, but we need more than awareness campaigns. We need to review and reform the structure around identification of victims and the supports that they get so that it's easier for them to be identified. It is easier for them to seek help and to be given help. And that is the reason I moved this bill. Thank you.